friends, welcome to English Minds. Welcome Critical Minds. Today we unravel the intricate tapestry of literature where archetypes, echoes, symbols speak and silence subverts through lenses of intertextuality, narratology and discourse analysis. Let us engage with the text not just as stories but as sites of power, resistance and meaning making. Let's begin. Who coined the term theatre of absurd to describe a trend in modern drama? Option C. Martin Esslin. Martin Esslin coined the term theatre of the absurd in his 1961 क्रिटिकल स्टडी द थिएटर ऑफ एब्सर्ड। इस शब्द का उपयोग उन्होंने उन नाटकों के लिए किया जो आधुनिक दुनिया की मीनिंगलेसनेस, व्यर्थता और फ्रेगमेंटेशन को दर्शाते हैं। थ्रू थिंकर्स लाइक कामो and laid the philosophical foundation. Esslin categorized playwrights like Samuel Beckett and John Jennett under the label. Next, the play Waiting for Godot. Albert Camus, The Myth of Sisyphus. And Samuel Beckett, Theatre of Absurd, Waiting for Godot. (1953). And the Bald Inferno. The Bald (1950). So option C is correct answer. Next, the play Waiting for Godot 1953 is considered the first true example of this theoretical movement. Option B, Theatre of Absurd. Theatre of Absurd Samuel Beckett Waiting for Godot 1953 is often hailed as the landmark of or pointing play of the थिएटर ऑफ द एब्सर्ड। इस नाटक में कोई कन्वेंशनल प्लॉट नहीं है। कैरेक्टर्स प्रतीक्षा करते रहते हैं बिना किसी स्पष्ट कारण के, मीन्स मीनिंगलेसनेस ने। एंड द इट एम्बॉडीज एब्सर्डिस्ट थीम्स, लैक ऑफ मीनिंग, सर्कुलर डायलॉग एंड एग्जिस्टेंशियल स्टैग्नेशन। की पॉइंट्स: व्हाट इज एब्सर्ड? lack of meaning and circular dialogue means boring. Circular dialogue. And last, existential stagnation. Stagnation. Through existential is the theme. It is categorized as absurd theatre, not pure existential drama, often confused with existentialism. But theatre of absurd is perform based. This is perform based. and existentialism is philosophical. So option B is correct answer. Next. Which philosophical essay by Albert Camus is central to the philosophy behind the theater of absurd? Option B, The Myth of Sisyphus. Albert Camus, 1942. Essay, the genre, essay. The Myth of Sisyphus lays down the philosophy of the absurd, that life had no inherent meaning, yet humans continuously seek meaning. Camus compares human struggle to Sisyphus, condemned to roll a boulder uphill favor. यह फिलोसफी थिएटर ऑफ एब्सर्ड के प्लेराइट्स जैसे बकेट, सैमुअल बकेट एंड के वर्क में प्रतिनिधित्व होती है, प्रतिध्वनित होती है. Camus is a philosopher, not dramatist. This is philosopher, not dramatist. And his essay is the philosophical seed. Esslin made the theoretical category. Next. In literary theory, aesthetics is primarily concerned with which of the following? Option C, the nature and appreciation of beauty in art and nature. The nature and appreciation of beauty in art and nature. Aestheticism is a term loosely applied to an English literary movement of the second half the 19th century. Oscar Wilde was the leader of aestheticism. The aesthetics believed art for art's sake, and it treats literature as an art. It probes that nature of the literary art as such as formulate its theory accordingly. Traces of it are found in Sidney, Dryden, Addison, Coleridge, I.A. Richard dealt with the elaborately. Next. And aesthetics is the branch of philosophy dealing with the nature of beauty and taste. It is not about history, morality, or politics, but about the sensory, emotional values of art. Wordsworth Peter White emphasized aesthetics. सौंदर्य शास्त्र कला में सुंदरता की अनुभूति और मूल्यांकन का अध्ययन है. And do not confuse aesthetic criticism, Sidney, Coleridge, I.A. Richards, with political or moral criticism. Next. The phrase art for art's sake is most closely associated with 19th century literary movements. Option B, aestheticism. The slogan art for art's sake, French, I art pour I art. I art pour I art was the rallying cry of the aesthetic movement in 19th century England, prominently by the Oscar Wilde. It signifies that art does not need to serve moral, political, or didactic purposes. Its value lies in its beauty alone. Romanticism focuses on emotion, naturalism on realism. Modernism on fragmentation, or only aestheticism centers purely on beauty. कला केवल कला के लिए, यह का सिद्धांत जिसमें कला का उद्देश्य केवल सौंदर्य होता है, नैतिक शिक्षा या सामाजिक सुधार नहीं. वाइट पीटर रिएक्शन अगेंस्ट विक्टोरियन मटेरियलिज्म. Next, Oscar Wilde was a prominent figure in which of the following movements? Oscar Wilde. The aesthetic movements. Option B. The aesthetic movement. Oscar Wilde was the most famous spokesperson of the aesthetic movement in late 19th century England, एंड आर्ट फॉर आर्ट सिक, कला केवल कला के लिए उनका प्रसिद्ध स्लोगन. वाइट promoted the idea that art exists purely for beauty, not for formal instruction or political message. Pre-Raphaelites focus on the medieval themes and pre-Raphaelites medieval themes, and Oxford movement was religious, and wide essays like The Decay of Lying and The Critique as Artist are central text of aestheticism. And Bloomsbury was early 20th century modernist. Next, which of the following works is considered the product of Oscar Wilde aesthetic philosophy? Option A. The Picture of Dorian Gray. It is a movement of late 19th century. As a movement, it was not well defined. It was one of the reactions against the materialism and commercialism of the Victorian industrial era. Previously, Arnold has attacked Victorian cultural narrowness. Carlyle had attacked Victorian spiritual mediocrity. Ruskin had tried to educate Victorians in the moral inspiration of beauty. There had also been two well-defined movements, the Oxford movement and the artistic pre-Raphaelite movement, preaching the virtues and medieval cultures. All these made up the background to aestheticism, but its inspiration was Walter Pater and his two most influential books, The Studies of the History of the Renaissance, 1873, and Marius the Epicurean, 1885. The outstanding aesthetes was Oscar Wilde, 1856 to 1900, and the product was his novel The Picture of the Dorian Gray in 1891. And the product was his novel. This is novel. Next, The Picture of Dorian Gray. Wilde novel The Picture of the Dorian Gray in 1891 is the manifesto of his aestheticism. इसमें youth, beauty और moral corruption के themes हैं, showing the danger of living only the pleasure of body, beauty. Deep profound is the prison letters earnest. Is a comedy of manners. Comedy of manners is symbolic but less direct, and this is the only novel by Wilde. Quote, the only way to get rid of a temptation is to yield to it. Next, who among the following influenced and the aesthetic movement with works like Studies in the History of the Renaissance and Marius the Epicurean? Option C. Walter Pater. Walter Pater is called the philosopher of aestheticism. His work Studies in the History of the Renaissance, 1873. The history of the Renaissance. 1873. Priest living the life intentionally and beautifully. उन्होंने कहा to burn always with this hard game like flame, gem like flame, to maintain this ecstasy and in success in life. Marius the Epicurean, 1850 1885. Ruskin criticized industrialization and Carlyle was moralistic, promoted cultural criticism, and White directly acknowledged Peter's influence. These authors' philosophies carefully. Next. The term affective fallacy refers to which critical approach? Option B. Judging art by its emotional effects on readers. कह रहा है affective fallacy is the error of evaluating a text based on its emotional impact on the reader rather than its formal qualities. किसी साहित्यिक कृति को पाठक की भावना के आधार पर आंकना आलोचनात्मक भूल मानी जाती है. It's belong to new criticism which emphasize close reading of the text itself, not reader's reaction, paired with intentional fallacy, wrongly judging by others' intent. The judging of a work of art in the terms of its result, especially by its emotional effect, the term introduced by W.K. Wimsett and M.C. Bardley. Next. Again, answer भी. Who introduced the term affective fallacy in literary criticism? Option B. Wimsett and Bradley. In 1949, the affective fallacy. They argued that criticism must focus on the text, not on readers' feeling, affective response. And T.S. Eliot and Ezra Pound are poets. Includes I. Richards and criticism, and Clint Brooks Warren promoted new criticism. Next. African American literature is said to have begun in 18th century with the poetry of which two enslaved poets? Option A. Jupiter Hammond and Phyllis Wheatley. Phyllis Wheatley, 1753 to 1784. Was the first African American woman to publish a book of poetry, poems on various subjects, religious and moral, in 1773. Jupiter Hammond, 1771 1811 to 1806, was the first published African American poet. His poem appeared in 1761. African American literature, frequently called Afro-American or Black literature. The formal study of such writing, at one time a neglected area of American literary scholarship, is increasingly important, and this study came out for two primary reasons: the growing recognition of African American as a significant part of American culture, and the recovery or development of a body of writing or impressing scope and quality. African American literature began in the 18th century with the poetry of two slaves, Jupiter Hammond and Philip Whitley. Centuries saw further effort by slave poets and was marked by a flood of autobiographical records of the slave. Terrible experiences known as slave narratives, of which the most famous is that by Frederick Douglass. There were also polemical pamphlet and in 1853 William Wells Brown, an escaped slave, published her first novel by African American Clottel by William Wilberforce Clottel, or other name, The President's Daughter. The President's Daughter. In the modern age, a host of skillful African American writers have produced distinguished work in every field. Paul Laurence Dunbar and Langston Hughes and Brooks, who was in 1949 the first Afro-American to receive the Pulitzer Prize. When 1949 what Pulitzer Prize. नेक्स्ट, टाइम थोड़ा लग सकता है बट ये डिटेल्ड एक्सप्लेनेशन एंड वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर ऑल एग्जामिनेशन. The 19th century genre that recorded the personal testimonies and experiences the enslaved individuals is known as option B, slave narratives. Slave narratives were autobiographical accounts by escaped or freed slaves in 19th century America. दास प्रथा के खिलाफ संघर्ष का यह एक सशक्त साहित्यिक रूप था. एंड नैरेटिव्स ऑफ द लाइफ ऑफ फ्रेडरिक डगलस 1845, इंसिडेंट्स इन द लाइफ ऑफ द स्लेव गर्ल बाय हैरियट जैकब्स. नेक्स्ट, often grouped under Afro-American protest literature, important for the unit of autobiography and narratives. Next, who among the following wrote one of the most famous slave narratives? Option B, Frederick Douglass. Douglass narratives of the life of Frederick Douglass in American Slave 1845. An American Slave 1845 is the most famous and widely studied slave narratives. Brown also wrote narratives, but Douglas' work is colonial. Next, the novel Clotel, or The President's Daughter, 1853, considered as the first novel by an Afro-American, was authored by option B. William Wells Brown. William Wells Brown published Clotel in 1853 in London, marking the first Afro-American novel. And these themes explored the mixed race daughters of Thomas Jefferson, early critique of slavery and race. And Chestnut came later with the Conjure Woman. The Conjurer Woman. The Conjure Woman. 1899. And Johnson's The Autobiography of an Ex-Colored Man. Ex-Colored Man. 1912. Right, 20th century and Native Son. 1940. Clotel is the key in American novel life timeline. First novel by a Black American. Next. Who was the first Afro-American writer to receive the Pulitzer Prize in 1949? Option B. Brooks. Brooks won the Pulitzer Prize in 1949 for Annie Allen. Annie Allen. Becoming the first Afro-American to win the prestigious award. And Hughes were and Cullen. This is both Harlem Renaissance poet. And Toni Morrison, Nobel Prize in 1993, win the Nobel Prize, not Pulitzer Prize. So, option B is correct answer. Brooks is the central in the 20th century American poetry. C is often matched with the Black arts movements. Next. The period between 1750 and 1798 in English literature is commonly known as option B, the age of Johnson. Samuel Johnson dominated the literary scene during 1750 to 1798. Samuel Johnson, 1750 to 1798. This is called Age of Johnson. Age of Pope 1700 to 1744, and Augustine is broadly overlaps but focuses on Pope's with addition, and Romantic revival starts with the lyrical ballads 1798, which marks the end of the period. Periodization like these are frequent. Age of Johnson with Boswell, Gibbon, and pre-romantic shifts. Age of Johnson in English literature, the interval between 1750 and 1798 was the markedly transitional age. Transitional age in English literature. The neoclassicism that dominated the first half of the century was yielding in many ways to the impulse towards Romanticism. Although the period was still predominantly neoclassical, little was accomplished in drama except of the comedy by Sheridan and Goldsmith. The chief poets were Burns, Gray, Cooper, Johnson, and Crane, a list that indicates how thoroughly the pendulum was swinging away from Pope and Dryden. Yet was Samuel Johnson, poet, lexicographer, essayist, novelist, journalist, and neoclassical critic, who was the major literary figure. Who? Samuel Johnson, and his friend Boswell. Biography of him 1791 was the greatest work of the age, challenged for such honor only by Gibbon's monumental history. The decline and the fall of Roman Empire 1776, and interest in the past, particularly in the Middle Ages, in the primitive and in the literature of the folk was developing and was contributing with increasing strength to the growing tide of Romanticism. It is sometimes called the age of sensibility, emphasizing the emergence of new attitudes and the development of sensibility as a major literary expression. Next, the literary period, sometimes called the age of sensibility, is notable for which of the following characteristic? Option B, emergence of new attitudes and sensibility as literary expressions. Age of sensibility 1750 to 1798 is marked by the emotional expressiveness, sentimental literature, and shift towards romanticism. यह समय तर्कवाद रेशनलिज्म से भावना इमोशनलिज्म की ओर संक्रमण काल माना जाता है. मीन्स रेशनलिज्म टू इमोशनलिज्म, मिड पाथ. And restoration comedy belongs to the late 17th century, 60s. Restoration 1660s. Sensibility age connects directly with poet like Gray, L.G. and Cooper, and pre-romantic thinkers. An interest in the past, particularly the Middle Age, in the primitive and in the literary of the folk was developing and was contributing with increasing strength to the growing tide of Romanticism. Next. James Boswell's biography of Samuel Johnson, published in 1791, is regarded as option A, the first modern biography in English. Boswell Life of Samuel Johnson 1791 is hailed as the first modern psychological and detailed biography. Next. Edward Gibbon's monumental works, The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, was published in not published. Option B, 1776. Gibbon's first volume appeared in 1776, symbolically the year of American independence. It represents the Enlightenment historiography, focusing on empirical evidence and skeptical analysis. So, Gibbon 1776 is a classic fact asked in British prose, 18th century historiography and non-fiction prose sections. Let me clear. Next. The age of reason term is often applied to which period in English literature? Option C, Neoclassical period. Age of reason refers to the Neoclassical period 1660 to 1780, where rationalism, order, decorum ruled literary taste. Writers Dryden, Pope, Swift, Addison, Johnson, Samuel Johnson. हिंदी में तर्क, अनुशासन और शास्त्रीय आदर्शों का युग. विक्टोरियन 1837 to 1901. Industrial and moral reform. Renaissance in earlier 15th century. And Romanticism is the reaction against the age of reason. Age of reason, neoclassical, common in periodization and philosophy of literature. Age of reason, a term often applied to the neoclassical period in English literature, and sometimes to the revolutionary and early national period in American literature, because these periods emphasized self-knowledge, self-control, discipline, and the rule of law, order, and decorum in public and private life and art. Next. The Romantic movement in England is generally considered to have begun with the publication with which work in 1798. We will know. Option C, Lyrical Ballads in 1798 by William Wordsworth and S.T. Coleridge, is officially considered the starting point of English Romanticism. It rejected neoclassical decorum and celebrated nature, emotion. What celebrated? Nature, emotion, and the common man. Age of the Romantic movement in England 1798 to 1832. Although a major romantic poet, Robert Burns had died in 1796. Robert Burns died in 1796. William Blake's Songs of Innocence had appeared in 1789. And the publication of lyrical ballads by Wordsworth and Coleridge in 1789. Coleridge in 1798, not 89. It often regarded as the beginning of a period of more than 3 decades in which Romanticism triumphed, a period that is often said to have ended in 1832. Means 1798 to 1832. With the death of Scott. Okay. With the death of Walter Scott. During these 34 years, the career of Wordsworth, Coleridge, prominent figure Wordsworth, Coleridge, Byron, Mary and P.B. Shelley, and Keats flawed. Scott created the historical novel and made it a force in international literature. Jane Austen wrote her novel of manners. Jane Austen, novel of manners. Mary Shelley's her Gothic novel and science fiction. Mary Shelley, Gothic novel and science fiction. Sci-fi. And Lamb, De Quincey and Hazlitt. Lamb, De Quincey and Hazlitt. Raised the personal essay to a high level of accomplishment. The Prelude was published posthumously in 1850. And Don Juan is the Byron work. Byron, when? 1850. Don Juan is a 1819. इतने सारे फैक्ट है और सारे फैक्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट, सो डोंट मिस ऑल फैक्ट्स. नेक्स्ट, the Romantic period is in England is said to have ended around 1832 with the death of which prominent writer? Option B, Sir Walter Scott. 1832, death of Sir Walter Scott marks the conventional end of Romanticism and beginning Burns' death. Robert Burns. When? 1796. And end 1832. Sir Walter Scott marked the conventional end the Romanticism in England. And Byron died 1824. Blake 1827. After 3 years, Byron, Blake died. And Keats 1821. 1832 में स्कॉट की मृत्यु के साथ रोमांटिक युग का पटाक्षेप माना जाता है. रोमांटिक पीरियड 1798 स्टार्ट, end with Scott in 1832. Next. What among the following is credited with creating the historical novel, making it a powerful genre in international literature? Option C, Sir Walter Scott. Scott novel like Waverley, 1814, established the historical novel as a dominant genre. Mary Shelley, Gothic, sci-fi, science and fiction, Frankenstein, and Wordsworth, poetry, Austen, domestic realism. So, historical fiction, Sir Walter Scott. Next. Which writer combined Gothic elements and science fiction and in her famous 1818 novel? Mary Shelley, Frankenstein, 1818, is considered as the first science fiction novel with strong Gothic horror elements. Austen wrote social realism, and Anne Radcliffe, Gothic fiction, and Bronte, Jane Eyre, mix Gothic. Next. फ्रैंकेस्टीन को वर्ल्ड फर्स्ट साइंस फिक्शन नॉवेल कहा जाता है. फ्रैंकेस्टीन 1818, गॉथिक प्लस साइंस फिक्शन माइलस्टोन, फ्रीक्वेंट. नेक्स्ट. The writers Lamb, De Quincey and Hazlitt are noted for elevating which literary form during the Romantic period? Option C, personal essay. Charles Lamb, Thomas De Quincey and William Hazlitt elevated the familiar personal essay during Romanticism. इन लेखकों में आत्मकथात्मक शैली को साहित्यिक ऊंचाई दी गई है. एंड ड्रामेटिक मोनोलॉग डेवलप्ड लेटर बाय ब्राउनिंग एंड एपिक पोइट्री इज एंशिएंट क्लासिकल फॉर्म. एंड एपिस्टोलरी नॉवेल लेटर बेस्ड, LETTERS based, was earlier 18th century by Richardson. Romantic essayist plus familiar essays comes often under prose and non-fiction units. Next. The term age of sensibility is applied to the period between 1750 and 1798 by literary historians such as option D, Matthew Arnold and Leslie Stephen. Matthew Arnold and Leslie Stephen, age of sensibility 1750 to 1798, marked the transition from neoclassicism to romanticism. classicism to romanticism. Historians like Matthew Arnold and Leslie Stephen retrospectively categorized this phase, focusing on sentiment, feeling, and the cult of sensibility. And Dermot William Terry Eggleton's our 20th century Marxist critic. 20th century Marxist critic. And Harold Bloom and Fire archetype Bloom canon archetype Lewis Richards practical criticism Lewis and Richards for whom practical criticism. So age of sensibility mid 18th century bridge era recurring concept. A name applied by literary historians such as Harold Bloom and Northrop Frye. To the last half of the 18th century in England, the time earlier called the Age of Johnson. Age of sensibility, also called of Age of Johnson. The term Age of sensibility results from seeing the interval between 1750 and 1798. Next, in classical drama, anagnorisis refers to option B, the discovery or recognition leading to reversal. Anagnorisis, Greek word, means recognition. Is the moment in a tragedy where the hero discovers a critical piece of information leading to a peripeteia reversal. And anagnorisis is in drama the discovery of recognition that leads to the peripeteia of reversal. The reversal depicts on recognition of something of great importance by the protagonist was unknown to him, which is known as discovery. In Aristotle terms, anagnorisis. And Oedipus Rex, when Oedipus realized his true identity. Example. And a tragic flaw leading to downfall. Hamartia. And a comic resolution of conflict. Comedy. Chorus function, not recognition. Chorus commentary. Yes. Option A is correct. Option B is correct answer. The discovery or recognition leading to reversal. Next. The term anagnorisis was first used by which ancient theorist? Aristotle. Option C. Aristotle in his Poetics introduced anagnorisis as part of his dramatic structure. Horace wrote Ars Poetica. Plato, Ars Poetica. Plato criticized poets and Longinus may wrote on sublime. एरिस्टोटल ने पोइटिक्स में एनाग्नोसिस और पेरिपेटिया की चर्चा की. पोइटिक्स ड्रामेटिक्स टर्म्स repeatedly asked infrequently exam. Next, the term agnosticism was coined in 1869 by which biologist? Option B, Thomas Huxley. Thomas Huxley, known as Darwin's bulldog, coined agnosticism in 1869 to describe the belief that the existence of God is unknown and unknowledgeable, perhaps unknowledgeable. हक्सले ने एग्नोस्टिसिज्म शब्द गढ़ा ज्ञानातीतता का सिद्धांत. When 1869, important general knowledge crossover. The term was invented by the biologist Thomas Huxley in 1869 to express towards religious faith and attitude with the neither of belief nor the disbelief. Atheism. What? Atheism. In his own words, I neither affirm nor deny the immortality of man. I see no reason for believing it, but on the other hand, I have no means to disproving it. Means हम accept भी नहीं कर सकते, हम deny भी नहीं कर सकते. Agnosticism was widespread among writers between 1850 to 1914. It arose from the scientific thought of the time, especially that of Huxley himself and that of another biologist, Charles Darwin. Next, in English verse, the Alexandrine line contains how many syllables? Option B, 12. Alexandrine are poetic lines with 12 syllables of an iambic hexameter, not pentameter. Hexa means 6 feet. In English, it sometimes concludes Spenserian stanza, 10 syllable iambic pentameter. Most common in English verses. And Spenserian stanza plus Alexandrian line, 9 line, 12 syllable. A must remember metric fact. A 12 syllable line of verse possibly owning its name to French medieval poem about Alexander the Great. It is common in French poetry but unusual in English, where the commonest line length is of 10 syllable. Michael Datron used it in his long poem Polyphia. In 1613 to 22, but its most famous use is in the last line of the Spenserian stanza invented by Edmund Spenser in Faerie Queene. Spenserian stanza invented by Edmund Spenser in his Faerie Queene. Next, The literary device allegory is primarily categorized by option C, a story or narrative that reveals a hidden moral or political meaning. Allegory, a story or narrative that reveals a hidden moral or political meaning. Allegory, a narrative with two levels, literal and symbolic, literative and figuratively, literal and symbolic. Famous example, John Bunyan, The Pilgrim's Progress. John Bunyan, The Pilgrim's Progress, Spiritual Journey, Allegory. From Greek, speaking in other terms, a way is representing thoughts and experience through images by means of which first complex ideas may be simplified or to abstract. Second, abstract, spiritual or mysterious ideas and experience may be made immediate but not necessarily simpler by dramatization in fiction. Next. The word allegory is derived from a Greek term meaning option B, speaking in other terms. From Greek word allegoria, Allegoria. Which word? Greek. Allos, other. Agorian, Agoreuein, means to speak. Speaking differently or indirect speech. Speaking differently or indirect speech. Hidden speech is close but not exact. Next. सो एलेगरी अन्य रूप में बोलना. Next, an anagram is created by option B, rearranging letters of a word to form a new word or phrase. Option B, anagram means rearrangement of letters. Rearrangement of letters. जैसे listen, silent. Anagram, word or word formed by the rearrangement of the letters of another word and often is comment upon it. Example, listen, silent. Wait, wit. Another example in the transformation of Florence Nightingale into Florence Nightingale. Into flit on cheering angel. अब कुछ कमेंट सेक्शन में आप लोग भी क्रिएट करके बताएंगे। देखो भाई, इस क्लास का ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोग फ़ायदा उठाओ, हम तो यही चाहेंगे, क्योंकि बनाने में भी मेहनत लगती है। In literary narratives, the antagonist refers to option C, the characters in opposition to the protagonist. Antagonist means oppose the hero, protagonist. Claudius in Hamlet. Antagonist, the major character in opposition to the hero or protagonist of a narrative or drama. The narrator who tells the story, narrator. The hero of main character, protagonist. Hamlet. And the hero of main characters, protagonist. And persona, the author's persona in the text. एंटागोनिस्ट प्रति नायक, जो नायक का विरोध करे। नेक्स्ट, antithesis is a rhetorical device that involves option B, sharp contrast of opposing ideas within a balanced structure. What is antithesis? A contrast in which sharply opposing ideas are expressed within a balanced grammatical structure. Example, juxtaposition of contrasting ideas. To error is human. जग प्रसिद्ध है ये तो. To error is human. To forgive, divine. The repetition of the same word at the beginning of the successive clauses, anaphora. Use of understatement for effect, litotes. Substitution of a part for the whole, synecdoche. Next, the term anticlimax refers to option B, a deliberate drop from the serious to the trivial. Sinking, often deliberate, from the sublime to the ridiculous. मीन्स एकदम ऊपर से नीचे की तरफ. sublime to, की पॉइंट, sublime to ridiculous मीन्स एकदम से बेतुका. जब कथा का वक्तव्य गंभीर और ऊंचे से स्तर से अचानक साधारण या तुच्छ स्तर पर गिरता है, जैसे ही लॉस्ट हिज फैमिली, हिज कार एंड हिज कीज, उल्टा है, यह क्लाइमेक्स का लक्षण है. अ सडन एलिवेशन इन द नरेटिव टोन्स. So, option B, Bethos Alexander Pope. Aporia is in rhetoric is the best described as aporia, a rhetorical in which the speaker appears perplexed. What? Perplexed, puzzled, and indecision. Over some question of choice, Hamlet's soliloquy, to be or not to be, is the best known example. Aporia. Option B is correct answer. A figure of speech where the speaker expresses doubt or confusion. To be or not to be. Or not to be. Next. एपोरिया रेटरिक डिवाइस जहां वक्ता शंका या असमर्थता व्यक्त करता है. आई एम नॉट श्योर वेदर टू प्रेज और टू ब्लेम हिम. अ स्टेटमेंट ऑफ यूनिवर्सल ट्रूथ. एपोरिज्म. And what is aphorism? Contain general truth, utters sentence with sense, with more weight or wisdom. Crafty men condemn studies, simple men admire them, and wise men use them. Francis Bacon of Studies in 1625. Example of the aphorism. And C, a recurring motif in ancient myth. Not aphorism. Next. The famous soliloquy, to be or not to be, from Shakespeare Hamlet, is the example of. अभी पीछे बताया है. Option B, aporia. Apostrophe addresses an absent person or abstract idea. Example, oh death. Euphemism, mild expression replacing harsh one, passed away for that. Allegory, symbolic story, not applicable here. Next. An aphorism is the best defined as option B, a short, wise and memorable statement containing general truth. संक्षिप्त, ज्ञानवर्धक और सार्वभौमिक सत्य का कथन. Aphorism, the terse sentence weight with sense, with more weight or wisdom. Crafty man condemn studies. Simple men admire them, and wise men use them. Francis Bacon of Studies, 1625. Actions speak louder than words. Next. A metaphor extended through multiple lines, conceit or extended metaphor, and a form of the comic relief in tragedy. Grave diggers, in Hamlet for short relief to audience. Aphorism linked to the Bacon essays, knowledge of the power. Knowledge of the power. Power. Next. In literary criticism, archetypes are considered. Option B. Primordial image inherited in collective unconsciousness. मूल छवियां जो सभी संस्कृतियों में अनजाने रूप से प्रकट होती हैं. कलेक्टिव अनकॉन्शियस, जैसे हीरो, शैडो, मदर फिगर. आर्किटाइप मीन्स मूल स्वरूप, आदर्श. दिस टर्म इज यूज्ड इन सिंस 1930. C.G. Jung या कार्ल यूंग describe archetypes as a primordial image. Formed by repeated experiences in the lives of our ancestor, inherited in the collective unconscious. Inherited our ancestors means हमारे पूर्वज. Inherited to the collective unconsciousness of the human race and often expressed in myths, religions, dreams and fantasies. किसमें myth, religion, dream, fantasy. Okay. As in literature, in literary criticism, archetype is applied to a character, that type or plot pattern of description which recurs frequently in literature and is thought to evoke profound emotional responses in the reader because it resonates with an image already existing in his unconsciousness mind. Alceste, Oedipus, Hamlet, Faust, and Don Juan have the power to stir generation after generation because they are archetypal figure. Next. In drama, an aside is a device where option B, the audience is addressed directly while all other characters on stage are unaware. रंगमंचिया डिवाइस जिसमें पात्र दर्शकों से बात करता है लेकिन मंच पर बाकी पात्रों को पता नहीं चलता. It's called aside. This is a theoretical device whereby the audience indirectly addressed in the word that others are not supposed to hear. Example: in Hamlet, Polonius speaks an aside to reveal his thoughts. The character speaks directly to another character in private. Whisper thoughts, stage whisper. And a narrator summarizes the plot to the audience. Summarize, chorus. And dialogue, the sung instead or spoken. Opera refers to opera. Next. The term avant-garde in literature refers to option C, new writing with innovation in form or technique. Avant-garde. In literature, a term designating new writing that contains innovations in form or technique. The Men of 1914. As Wyndham Lewis called them, were still as avant-garde. Avant-garde फ्रेंच वर्ड जिसका अर्थ है एडवांस गार्ड. एडवांस, दिस इज फ्रेंच वर्ड एडवांस गार्ड मीन्स वैनगार्ड. यह नए प्रयोगात्मक लेखन को दर्शाता है. एग्जाम्पल डेडिज्म, सरेलिज्म, मॉडर्निस्ट पोइट्री. राइटिंग दैट strictly adhere to the traditional forms. Opposite rejects avant-garde rejects traditional form. This is innovative and advanced form. Next, the ballad as a literary form is best described as option B, a narrative poem of popular origin, often sung and dramatic in nature. लोक कथाओं से उत्पन्न गीतात्मक कविता जो कहानी कहती है. Example, The Rime of Ancient Mariner. A long epic poem with elaborate style called epic. A prose narrative depicting historical event called prose. A critical essay on popular culture, essay. Ballad stanza, quatrain with quatrain means 4 and with A, B, C, B, rhyme scheme. Ballad, a traditional song in which some popular stories are narrated in short stanzas, commonly in quatrain of alternate 4. The word derives from Old French ballad to dance. Ballad to dance. Old French. Compare modern English ball, a dance to which guests are invited. Features of the ball in its traditional form are: the matter is often a highly dramatic narrative. The stories are often versions of themes used in ballads throughout Europe. Next, the word ballad is etymologically derived from an Old French term meaning dance. Option C. Ballad comes from Old French ballad, B-A-L-L-A-D-E, meaning dance song. Etymologically, ballare, B-A-L-L-A-R-E, means to dance. So, option C is correct answer. बैलेट का शब्द का मूल अर्थ है नृत्य के लिए गीत। नेक्स्ट, in literature bathos refers to, bathos means what? Sudden unintentional descent from the exalted to the ridiculous, usually caused by the writer trying to be lofty. Option B, a sudden unintentional descent from the serious to the trivial explanation, to the trivial means serious to trivial, एकदम से गंभीर से बेतुकी बात पर आ जाना। यह लेखन गंभीर शैली में लिखते लिखते अचानक हल्के या हास्यास्पद स्तर पर आ जाते हैं। Coined by Alexander Pope in Peribathos. Next, the term belles letters is chiefly applied to, option B, light writings and essays focusing on literary style rather than factual content. यह उन लेखों और निबंधों के लिए प्रयुक्त होता है जो कलात्मक शैली में लिखे जाते हैं, न कि गहन दार्शनिक और वैज्ञानिक विषयों पर। बेल्स लेटर्स, फ्रेंच टर्म मीनिंग ब्यूटीफुल लेटर्स, refers to essay, criticism, essay, criticism, and light literary works where style and aesthetic form matter more than fact. Bell letters, unfashioned terms chiefly applied to lighter writings and essays, not serious. Next, a Bildungsroman typically narrates, option B, the development journey of a young protagonist from adolescence to maturity. जर्मन शब्द जिसका अर्थ है नॉवेल ऑफ फॉर्मेशन, नॉवेल ऑफ फॉर्मेशन। Bildungsroman, a novel that deals with the development of a young person, usually from adolescence to maturity. Adolescence to maturity. It is frequently autobiographical. Dickens' Great Expectations. Dickens का, चार्ल्स डिकेंस का ग्रेट एक्सपेक्टेशंस ऑटोबायोग्राफी, एंड सैमुअल बटलर द वे ऑफ ऑल फ्लेश। सैमुअल बटलर द वे ऑफ ऑल फ्लेश। Are standard examples. Doris Lessing in 5 volumes, Children of Violence. 5 volume, Doris. 5 volume, Children of Violence. Violence. Next, ranks among the most ambitious and expressive. Charles Dickens' Great Expectations is often cited as classical example of, option B, a modern stream of consciousness work, no, option C, a Bildungsroman. Great Expectations traces Pip's journey. Pip's journey from boyhood means adolescence to maturity to self realization. हमें तभी होता है ना जब हम मेच्योर हो जाते हैं, कभी कभी तो उसके बाद भी नहीं होता है लोगों को। फुलफिलिंग बिल मीन्स जब हम अपनी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी समझने लगे तो हमारे अंदर मेच्योरिटी हो जाती है। रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी भी कैसी, पॉजिटिव नॉट नेगेटिव। फुलफिलिंग बिल्डिंग्सट्रोमन क्राइटेरिया, पता चले हम अपने ही कंफर्ट के लिए अपना ही क्राइटेरिया फिक्स कर लें, दिस इज नॉट कॉल्ड मेच्योरिटी। डिस्टोपिया लाइक 1984 dystopia. And option B, stream of consciousness is linked to Joyce, James Joyce and Woolf, Virginia Woolf. Gothic, Frankenstein, Dracula. So option C is correct answer. पिप के व्यक्तित्व विकास को दिखाने वाला उपन्यास जिसके शैक्षिक क्षेत्र में अक्सर बिल्डिंग्सट्रोमन के उदाहरण में पढ़ाया जाता है या पढ़ा जाता है। एंड टुडेज सेकंड लास्ट क्वेश्चन, द ब्लैक डेथ दैट स्ट्रक इंग्लैंड इन 1348 to 49 led to option C, labor shortage and the peasants' revolt in 1381. Black Death wiped out one third of England. England's population, creating severe labor shortage. Results what? Peasants demands higher wages led to 1381 peasants' revolt. Black Death, an epidemic which struck England in 1348 to 49 and reduced the population by between one third and one half. The economic consequences were far-reaching, especially the shortage of labor. Landowners tended to change from arable to sheep farming, which required less labor. Peasants had better bargaining power and were in a position to communicate. A fierce class struggle resulted from attempt by the landed classes to keep down wages, culminating in the peasants' revolts of 1381. Next, and today's last question. In English poetry, blank verse is categorized by option B, unrhymed lines written in iambic pentameter. Blank verse, no rhyme but strict metrical structure. No rhyme but strict metrical structure. Called iambic pentameter, used by Shakespeare, Milton and Marlowe. Example, Paradise Lost, Hamlet. Rhymed couplet in heroic tone, heroic couplet, used Pope and Dryden. Free verse, no meter, no rhyme. Free verse, no meter, no rhyme. And a prose poetry, not blank verse. ब्लैंक वर्स यानी बिना तुकांत लेकिन लयबद्ध iambic pentameter पंक्तियां. Blank verse which is unrhymed and composed of lines which normally contains with 10 syllables and have the stress on every second syllables is the classical iambic pentameter. The first user of the iambic pentameter in English was Romeo and Juliet blank verse. Shakespeare's of the blank verse or unrhymed rhymed iambic pentameter is an important element of his verse without rhyme, especially that which uses iambic pentameter. Chaucer, and he used in rhyming couplets. Example, the prologue of the Canterbury Tales. Chaucer, first user, the prologue to the Canterbury Tales. The first user of blank verse was Henry Howard, Earl of Surrey, when 1517 to 47, who adopted it for a translation of the second and third books of Virgil Aeneid. Second and third books, Virgil Aeneid. It is also used by Sackville and Norton in their tragedy Gorboduc. Sackville and Norton tragedy Gorboduc. The dramatist Christopher Marlowe, time period Christopher Marlowe, 1564 to 93, first gave blank verse its great distinction. Blank verse is as used by Marlowe was carried on by Shakespeare, who employed it with steadily increasing flexibility and power. That's it. Thanks for watching. Thank you, fellow thinkers. As we close, may we carry forward the critical lens, ever attuned to the silence between the lines, the voice beneath in the text. Literature endures not just in interpretation, but in the questions it dares us to ask. Let inquiry remain our compass in next session. Thanks for watching. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe, like, share and share your thoughts in comments. Don't forget to press the bell icon for at least all updates. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel. Stay tuned for most important informative content and make sure to hit the bell icon for never miss any update. See you in the next video. Thank you.